What's going on, guys? It is the Retro viewer here, coming back to you with another brand new video. And I know half of you in the comments are probably going to be ranting about my long hiatus again after promising to create more content. But now I'm going to try and stay on top of things thanks to some brand new editing team. And as well as that, I'm going to just be putting out a lot more stuff I want to do. There's going to be some new stuff, more reviews, more gameplay videos, so let's plays, and just other general stuff that I might get into. However, I'm not going to pressure myself by setting a schedule for those. There will be a schedule in future, yes, but until then, for the first month, I should say, don't quote me on that, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. And if you've looked at the title of this video, which probably inspired you to click on this video, you might remember that a while back I did a Shovel Knight gameplay video series. I played Shovel Knight Shovel of Hope in Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, a pack of all of the games, and I enjoyed my time. I did say that the final episode would air, however, due to footage corruption, the final episode does not exist. I cannot replay the final boss fight, sadly. However, if you guys want to see me fight the final boss of Shovel Knight Shovel of Hope, maybe in a different save file when I've gotten up to it, make sure to comment down below if you do want to see that, and enjoy the rest of the video. So Shovel Knight Shovel of Hope, where exactly do I start? It's a game that has spawned many sequels, such as, well, all of them you play as former villains that Shovel Knight has defeated, telling their stories, such as Plague of Shadows, Spectre of Torment, and the brand new King of Cards. Shovel Knight Shovel of Hope's introduction begins with Shovel Knight and Shield Knight, two knights that scour the land for treasure and stuff, just having a normal day until the Enchantress captures Shield Knight when Shovel Knight isn't aware of it. Shovel Knight is then pretty mad, understandably, and the whole quest is to go save Shield Knight from the Enchantress. I'm not going to spoil any endings here. This is a spoiler-free introductory review, but I'll get into more spoilery gameplay assets. But if you begin watching my series on the YouTube channel, you'll see that a lot of things build up to this big reveal at the very end of the game. But moving aside from the introduction, that is poor, it's interesting that they did it in a text format, because if you haven't already noticed just looking at Shovel Knight, it looks a lot like some of those old video games that you find people reviewing on the internet just like me. It has an 8-bit art style, and to add to the atmosphere, there are text-based dialogue scenes with no voice acting except for little grunts and noises, a bit like Banjo-Kazooie. And the intro is all in almost like a slideshow format with little text on the bottom. And that remains consistent throughout the entire series all the way up to King of Cards. So it's good to see that the Yacht Club takes pride in their work and do enjoy keeping it consistent. The introduction of Shovel Knight it kind of opens more questions than answers up to the audience. And as you play along, digging and fighting enemies, the story slowly pieces itself together, even though the story isn't the main aspect of the game. But enough of the story, I should probably begin talking about the gameplay. I think the reason why Shovel Knight Shovel of Hope caught on so quickly with game players and journalists alike is because of how fun and addicting its gameplay is. Shovel Knight has a limited moveset from the get-go. All he can really do is dig with his shovel and do a little DuckTales-esque pogo bounce with the shovel on enemies to defeat them. He can dig up piles of treasure lying across the ground to get gems, use his shovel to buckle open locks on chests for the same goal, more treasure. However, as you progress through the game, you find that you can get more additions, I could say, to your arsenal in the form of artifacts. You can buy them from the merchant living inside chests, funnily enough named Chester, which is fitting. However, these relics or artifacts are not 100% needed to finish the game, which is probably why people praised Shovel Knight. There are so many ways to play it, and each unique playthrough can be made interesting by you with personally limited or personally exceeded use of these artifacts or relics. However, it is quite prominent that in the first iteration of the series, some of the artifacts are a little more overpowered than others. Case in point, the Phase Locket. The Phase Locket is it is a locket style thing inherited by the old Spectre Knight, which you learn about in the games, that temporarily makes you invisible for a few seconds, meaning you're allowed to equip not invisible, invincible. Well, kind of both, actually. You can equip through enemies, take no damage, and it only costs a little bit of mana. Then on the other hand, you have things like the green ball weapon. I mean, some of these are very situational weapons. Some of them are useful, like the Phase Locket in every situation. I find myself using the Phase Locket a lot within bosses, evident by my gameplay videos on the channel. But things like the green ball projectile and other stuff like the 3DS Amiibo exclusive ones are so situational that I never find myself using them as often. They do refine this in the later game, which is very good work done by Yacht Club. But the gameplay of Shovel Knight is just so addicting and great to come back to. It is one of those golden NES game feels that is captured so perfectly. And this one game has totally changed everything. It spawned countless sequels, a fighting game, and a 16-bit style sequel coming soon, dubbed Shovel Knight Dig. But enough about the gameplay. Let's move on to some more personal stories about Shovel Knight. So while Shovel Knight has swept a lot of gamers off their feet by making more iterations that were just getting more better and better in my opinion, the first Shovel Knight game was really one of the games that inspired me to start making videos. And that's a big thing, because if it weren't for Shovel Knight, I probably wouldn't be into retro gaming as much as I am now. Shovel Knight's just so pick up and play in a way that it reminds you of other great nostalgic games from the NES era, such as Super Mario Bros. 3, Contra, Battletoads. Okay, maybe not Battletoads. Oh wait, Battletoads. Shovel Knight also brings in a few new forms of awesome extra fun in the form of console exclusive stuff. PS4 gets Kratos from God of War, and Microsoft, Shovel Knight on the Xbox gets, you guessed it, Battletoads. So yeah, the Battletoads and Kratos are in Shovel Knight. Who could have thunk it? This is a lot bigger than it may seem, because on the outside it may just look like another cool boss fight that you can encounter, and a little bit of fun history from games. Two game franchises often respected. Besides the Turbo Tunnel, we don't talk about the Turbo Tunnel. But really, if you look at it in the eyes of a game developer, Rareware themselves, the ones behind Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo, and Sony, masters of creating incredible cinematic games like The Last of Us, Hellblade, which is also on PC, and God of War, the new one, especially on PlayStation, looked at Shovel Knight and they said, I want my character in that game. This, I believe, happened towards the late 2014. So this was when Plague of Shadows was in development. So this must have been a very big dopamine booster for Yacht Club. And sometimes I like to believe, that if it wasn't for Sony and Microsoft doing that and asking to put their characters in that game, Shovel Knight might not have been heavy on console exclusives. But hey, console exclusive or PC, you can enjoy Shovel Knight on a lot of different platforms. And that's good. Accessibility is awesome. However, there does come one problem with that. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove is the most popular iteration of Shovel Knight, as every single time a new game with the Shovel Knight characters comes out, it is added to Treasure Trove, and the cost of Treasure Trove gets higher. So the earlier you buy it, the more stuff you get in future. However, on PC, usually the newer stuff comes out first, right? Like DLC perhaps. So an example would be Borderlands 2. DLC came out first on PC, then slowly crept its way to console in the Handsome Collection. However, with Shovel Knight, every single release happens spontaneously. Like King of Cards came to Switch, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4, all in the short month of April. Oh, no, it didn't come out in April. That leads me to my next point, delay. One of the most inspirational businessmen, and someone I look up to on the daily, Shigeru Miyamoto, once said, "A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad." That is especially true for Shovel Knight and some of its iterations. Shovel Knight King of Cards will probably be the most prominent example here. It was set for an April 2019 launch, and it would be immediately added to Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, but also be available for purchase as its own single standalone game, just like Plague of Shadows and Spectre of Torment likewise. However, it didn't get released till the much later December of 2019. 10th of December to be exact, by Yacht Club. Even though it may be more than 8 months late, I still enjoyed every single second of Shovel Knight King of Cards. I may review that in the future, and I will 100% make a Let's Play series of Shovel Knight King of Cards. Is it my favourite iteration? No. But it just proves that Yacht Club never stops striving for their own work and trying to achieve past their limit. After Spectre of Torment, I didn't think they could get any better, but even though they didn't exceed themselves, King of Cards was a very enjoyable game. However, I won't be going into detail on that. Some of Shovel Knight's other iterations may not have been as delayed or delayed at all, but they are still all quality games, especially Shovel of Hope. So Yacht Club Games has come so far from Shovel of Hope. Think of everything that's happened, that I've already said. Rareware and Sony have appreciated and loved their work. They've had countless sequels. They have a fighting game inbuilt in Shovel Knight Treasure Trove dubbed Shovel Knight Showdown. They're getting a 16-bit game done by Nimblebit, an incredible game developing team, doing multiple, almost pseudo 3D pixel art style games. But most importantly, the ones themselves, Nintendo, have recognized their work on multiple occasions. Sure, an easy example would be to say that they put Shovel Knight Treasure Trove on Nintendo Switch. But there's something even better. If you're a video gaming fan like me, you may know that one of the biggest, most controversial games out there right now is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It has many popular reveals, inspiring lots of people to go ape when their favorite character gets in, or when another character gets in. And it's a fun, fighting game, and another great entry in the franchise. Shovel Knight was included as an assist trophy in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on launch. Thinking about it, that might be perfectly fine, like a normal example, but when you go to apply for an assist trophy, it is believed that you're not sure whether or not your assist trophy gets in, unless, of course, you check emails or whatever, if you are that eager to find out. However, Yacht Club Games went in blind. Their team decided to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, playing as a Mii skin that looked an awful lot like Shovel Knight and used a moveset that involved digging, which is kind of hilarious, to see if Shovel Knight was hiding in the game. They had no idea that on their final game of the night, when they declared that Shovel Knight was not in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, they pulled an assist trophy and there appeared Shovel Knight. This was a big moment for Yacht Club. It inspired them to start doing a lot more things than just Treasure Trove. As I already said, Shovel Knight Showdown, Shovel Knight Dig, more stuff in the future. And again, Nintendo immortalized Shovel Knight as an amiibo. Becoming an amiibo may not seem like a big deal, but when you think about it, the only amiibos I can think of right off the top of my head that aren't Nintendo owned, like Nintendo created originally, are Solid Snake, Shovel Knight himself, and Bayonetta. However, Nintendo has kind of put Bayonetta under their wing for Bayonetta 3 eventually. Like my comment on a rush game, it will a rush game is forever bad. But that brings us to the conclusion of this review. So what a journey, hey? We've come from a small indie studio in 2013 all the way up to this very, very well-known character full of this awesome content for a series. But how does the original compare to the newer iterations? Well, as people always say and the old saying goes, quality over quantity, and Yacht Club Games has done exactly that. Within the past 5 years of Shovel Knight's release, 5 main games have come out, one of them being a fighting game included in the bundle of King of Cards. However, Shovel Knight Shovel of Hope, although being the first game, doesn't really hold up compared to the others. That being said, it is still very fun, and I implore you to play it. That's why my final rating for Shovel Knight Shovel of Hope is a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching this Shovel Knight video. If you guys want to see more reviews or more Let's Plays or more whatever, make sure to comment down below. If you enjoyed this review, thought it was helpful, hit a like, or if you didn't enjoy it, you can dislike it. But be sure to tell me why in the comments. I'm always trying to learn, aspire to do better in my reviews, and start making more quality content. There will be a Shovel Knight Plague of Shadows Let's Play coming very soon. However, I'm going to say maybe within the next week. Thank you guys for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.